All right, all right. This is the news, open discussion pertaining to Chicago and the entire United States of America. Good to see you all. Come on in, represent your city, represent your city, represent your city. Well, we're having a serious situation here in the city of Chicago. A Walgreens in the Chatham area on 86th and Cottage Grove is closing, and neighbors and customers in that area are extremely angry about that. There's a lot of elderly people in that area. Azim said they closed all of them in Pennsylvania. Yes, Walgreens is going through a lot. They're claiming they're going to restructure and open some different types of Walgreens. I'm not sure. But the one in the Chatham area, the elderly people are extremely upset. Some of them live in walking distance where they can get their medications. Now, this is a situation that I really could talk about on vegan intel too, because the bad health um, is causing a lot of our people. When I say our people, I mean the foundational Black Americans, Black people, and U.S. citizens as a whole, to be actually factually. Um, it's causing people to have to get on medication in their late 30s, for surely in their 40s. And it's pretty much a must in their 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. People have to take medication routinely for years. For years. I probably will talk about this on Vegan Intel because this is a serious problem. So now they have to be able to get their medication. And by a lot of them being older, many of them don't drive. Many of them can't pass their driver's course. Many of them can't afford cars, automobiles, because the price of living is really expensive. And we live in a society where the haves don't care about the have nots. And then some of the haves become have nots. And because the haves never cared about the have nots, when they become have nots, nobody cares. Which is another live stream. Some of my live streams could be 5 live streams because the haves and the have nots is a bad situation because you become the haves, you don't care about the have nots, things happen, you become a have not. Now you have contributed to the mentality to not care about the have nots. And so now that you're a have not, nobody cares. So this is a huge problem. I wanted to highlight the Walgreens in Chicago as a content creator, you all, if you want to, the words you put in the title helps target your message. So I wanted the citizens of Chicago and the elderly people in Chicago to know that I stand with you and I know what you're going through. And I've been talking about this on your behalf for about 2 years now because the Walgreens are closing left and right and left and right and right and left. And this is a heavy conversation. I'm going to have to talk about a lot of topics to cover this situation. This is a lot going. And there is a lot going on. Okay, a lot. There is a lot going on here in the United States economically. So they're closing the Walgreens on 86 in Cottage Grove, which is the Chatham community, which is a very nice community. And when you have Cottage Grove, in Chicago, you have Stony Island, you have Cottage Grove, then you have King Drive, right? So between King Drive and Cottage Grove, where the Walgreens at, it's a big community. Well-to-do black people that work, retirees, stuff like that. Then from Cottage Grove, where the Walgreens at, to Stony is another really couple of communities because it's on 87th Street. And there's communities west of 87th Street, east of 87th Street, and then on 87th Street, there's communities north of 87th Street and south of. So this is affecting a lot of communities, and especially the elderly that are able to get their medicine close. Now, the closing of these Walgreens is going to open up a huge can of worms because nobody realized how many people are on medication. And these Walgreens that are closing in the black community is going to be a big revelation because now people are going to see just how many people are taking pills every day of their life. Every day, they're taking pills and syrups every day. Every day. It reminds me when when I first started going live, I was at my father's house. Me and my queen and our daughter, we moved in because I went to visit him. I could see her. So we let our place go and we moved in because when you're dealing with the elderly like that, what is it going to be? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? You don't know how long they're going to live. And one day I'm taking my father his food and I'll be getting a little, I wouldn't call it angry. I don't know the word to call it. But I became a vegetarian in like 1978. So I've been plant-based now. I'm going on 50 years in another year and a half. So I took a lot of backlash in the 70s. Oh, you don't eat no meat. Uh, uh. With the dreadlocks didn't help, but the vegetarian part, because we called it vegetarian. So when you fast forward, I'm there, I'm taking care of my father. His stomach is shot. You know what I'm saying? His stomach is shot you know what I'm saying? So I say to him, I say, Dad, do you think, because my mother had already passed away from cancer, right? I think cancer of the uterus, which I believe came from maybe using powders and perfumes and the sanitary stuff and stuff that they use down there and lotions and stuff that these women are putting on them, right? Because they got sued for that, which me and my sister dropped the ball because we should have sued too. So I said to my father, I said, Dad, do you think if you and mom would have listened to me, And my father said to me, he said, boy, you're going to be just like me. That's what he said. So I'm like 50 something at this time. I'm in my 50s. My father's, I think, in around 80. Let me see, 35, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, 91, 2001, 2021. Yeah, my father's like 80s. So he said, boy, you're going to be just like me. And I'm trying to teach this to my children, especially my sons, to think. When somebody says something to you, you don't have to rush and respond. So I didn't respond. I thought about it. I say, Daddy's going to be just like him. Now I'm in my 50s or something. I had to think about that because he is 80 and I'm thinking, hey, I'm only 50, 30 years from now. Hey, right? I had to think about that. Yeah, am I going to be all right when I get 80? Good point, Daddy. I had to think about it, right? But I started thinking, and I go, wait a minute. So I say to my father, I say, Dad, I'm like 50 something. I say, Dad, you've been on high blood pressure medicine since you was in your 40s. I'm already doing better than you. He go, you right. That's one thing about him. He said, my daddy said, you're right. I know I am right. Okay, sit back and eat your food and be quiet. I said, here, eat. That's a whole nother story because when they get old like that and they start having dementia and stuff, you become the daddy and he becomes the son, kind of, right? So I'm the daddy now because he'll get up and wander off and all of that. So I got to holler at him. Oh my God. Oh God. I should do a whole live on that. Do you know what is, do you know how hard it is to tell your daddy what to do? Even if he's older and got dementia, he still know he your daddy sometime. So boy, your daddy not trying to listen to you. Oh my God, that's a whole video. I'm not gonna go down that road. You know how hard it was to tell him what to do? But my point is my daddy was still on pills, still on medication, even more medication. From 40 to 80, he was on medication for 40 years plus. How much money is that the pharmaceutical companies is making? So the Walgreens are closing left and right. The Walgreens is Chatham is closing. There's no other Walgreens close. And it's really a catastrophe. They're trying to get the politicians and stuff out there. These people don't drive. The one older lady like, but this is convenient. I can walk and get my medicine because this is a very highly populated area. But we have three, and I'm just going to speak for the black community. We have three different types and different standards of foundational black Americans in Chicago and in all the other cities. So that's why I'm talking for Chicago and the United States. We have three groups. We have a group of foundational black Americans that's got really good jobs, good education, good government jobs or good business jobs in banks and work for the state and stuff like that, doctors, lawyers like that. We have that group. Then we have a strong middle group. And that middle group consists of people that got jobs, sometimes don't got jobs, sometimes looking for jobs, uh, up and down, right? They might have a house, they might rent, they might have a job this long, then they got to go work for UPS. They might have a job here, don't pay that much. Christmas coming, work for UPS. We got that group. It's no longer the middle class. I call it the struggling class. But they hold on. Then we got the third group. And the third group is suffering from substance abuse, mental illness, sometimes mental illness along with substance abuse. They're kind of vagabonds, kind of homeless, some not. Uh, they're at the bottom, and it's a wide range. And all three of these groups has a wide range. So with this lower group, they are not like normal Chicago citizens or U.S. citizens. They live in a whole different world. So they survive off of shoplifting. They survive off of stealing. That's how they survive. This is how they eat. This is how they get their substances. This is how they do everything. They they can't really hold a job, right? A lot of them are like around late 20s through their 50s, sometimes 60s. And so they steal everything that's not nailed down. So Walgreens had to go and put plexiglass with locks on it for everything small enough to put in your pocket. The toothbrushes, the toothpaste, the deodorant, all that kind of stuff. You got to go in the aisle, and they got a little button on there, and it'll say customer on aisle something, and they got to come with a key for you to get the deodorant or the toothpaste or the toothbrushes or anything small like that, because these people come and just take it and then they go sell it, and that's how they make a living. That's how they survive. And so the Walgreens have been taking a beating. So, I think 2 years ago, I was helping a friend. She had got a house. She didn't have a man to help her out. She had got a house, and she knows I'm not a cockhound or sweat. I'm not going to, try to make no sexual advance or not like that. So I went and helped her move her stuff, move in and stuff like that. Get her locks and stuff together, get her straight, and then I was out of there. And while I was there, I went to a Walgreens. I forgot what I went to get. But I went to a Walgreens on which one? 71st and Jeffrey. That one. You see it says closed? Well, I went about 2 weeks before it was going to close. And when I went in there was nothing, hardly nowhere, because they wasn't restocking because they was getting ready to close. So the young black man, he was the manager. I said, "Oh, y'all finna close." He like, "Yeah." Because was another one on, that one must still be open. There's another one down the street on 71st. No, this ain't the one I'm talking about. This not the one. There's another one. This is the one. It's another one before you get to 71st that's on Jeffrey. I don't see that one listed. The other one was like 79th or something in Jeffrey. I don't see that one. I think that was, no, that wasn't 91st and Commercial. Anyway, there's two of them. Not the one on 71st and Jeffrey. That one hadn't closed yet. There's one before you get that far. That's not 91st and Commercial. Hold on. Let me see if it's listed. I don't see it. They left that one off of here. But anyway, so I go in there. There's nothing in there. Hardly. I think I found what I was looking for. I forgot. Something to take back for her to do something in the house. And the black young manager, he says, "Yeah, we're closing because they're just taking everything out of here." And so I'm at the cash register and I see some, black, transient type people, a woman and a man, and they just walked out the door with arms full of potato chips and popcorn and just walk right out. Now, it's not 69th and Stony. It's not Stony because I was coming right down from 87th where CVS is at. So I was going straight down Jeffrey. It was two of them on Jeffrey. There was two of them on Jeffrey. There was one earlier on Jeffrey. And then you keep going and saying, I think it was one on I thought it was like 79th and Jeffrey. White Flame, didn't it used to be one there too? I don't know. I must be getting confused. Uh, okay. They don't consider on Jeffrey. It was at 1213 West 79th Street. I think. No, that's Racine. No. On 79th and Jeffrey. That's what I thought. It was on 79th and Jeffrey. Then the other one was on 71st. Yeah, I thought so. So I go in there and they just walked out with a whole bunch of popcorn and stuff. Now, I don't steal. But the manager was there and he just let them walk out. And he was like, oh, it don't matter. We gonna this stuff, a lot of stuff gonna get thrown in the garbage or sent back. So I'm looking, and what they didn't take was the pistachio nuts. You know, black folks don't want to eat right. So the healthy stuff was there. And I don't steal. This is the first time I wanted to steal because pistachio nuts are expensive. And sitting right to my right, across from the cash register before you go out the door, there was all the pistachio nuts. Now, I wasn't thinking until I left. I said I should have grabbed those pistachio nuts. But then when I kept thinking, I should have told the manager, hey man, let me take. I didn't have to steal. I wasn't thinking. I should have said, man, let me take about 10 bags of these pistachio nuts. Don't nobody want them. So I blew that. But my point is, they just walked out with the stuff straight out. You know, it was unbelievable. A dude and a woman, you know, they look like they might be on substances or something, you know, the wild kind that be outside. They just grabbed all the popcorns and chips and stuff, the big bags, like she had like 6 and he had like 6. And they just walked out. He said, see, look at them. Real talk. Now, I used to live right there on 35th at the buildings right there by the lake. I used to live there. And there's a Walgreens right there on 35th. And what the Walgreens do is it divides the people got good jobs that live in those buildings from the hood. So King Drive is right there. And on that side is the hood, and on this side is the nice buildings. From 35th all the way down to 31st. Two different building units though, but those are there. So one time I went to the Walgreens on 35th. A man came in there and they had wine at the front, big bottles of wine. And this guy came and he stuffed, I'm not kidding, like 6 bottles of wine right down in his pants, put one under his arm, and just walk right out. The cashier said, hey, I ain't going to chase him. And she looked at me, she said, I said, did you see that? She said, yeah, they do that all the time. That Walgreens might be closed by now too. Because, yeah, big bottles of wine. I never seen nobody do nothing like. He stuffed like 6 of them down in his pants, like down. and walked out with him like, "Look, look, look, look." I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And took one, put on his coat, and just walked right out because they was right there. As soon as you walk in the door, they was right there on the display. He just grabbed them in front of everybody, store full of workers and everybody, and just walked out because the workers don't get paid enough. They not finna, even the security guards, they're not finna do anything. So these people are cleaning these places out because you've got too much poverty, too much substance abuse, and you have different classes of people living together. And this unfortunate lower class, they they can't go by the rules. They can't go by the rules. So some people will be like, but Pharaoh, it's not good to steal. Okay. If it's not good to steal, and stealing is no good, what do you consider overcharging us for goods? Because that's legal stealing. And so what they're charging us for a toothbrush, what they're charging us for toothpaste, what they're charging us for rent, car insurance, gas, and food, that's stealing. And what they're charging us is going to create a underclass. If if you can't get a bedroom apartment for no less than $2,000, if you're lucky 1,700, where's everybody? Who you want for a one-bedroom apartment? Nice, you want 1,700, 2,000, 2,100, but you don't want to pay nobody nothing. So now you got a lower underclass that can't afford it, and then you want to say they can't. They're going to steal everything. How could they not? You're stealing. You're robbing. You're robbing. You're stealing. A one-bedroom apartment is $500. A two-bedroom apartment is $750. That's what it's actually really worth. Yeah, that's what we should be paying. A one-bedroom apartment should cost you $500 in Chicago. In a smaller city, $350. In a city like Chicago, a two-bedroom apartment should cost you $700, $750. In a smaller city, $650. That is a fact. There is no apartment worth anything more than that. And everybody knows it because there's nothing but some boxes with a kitchen and somewhere for you to sleep. And you should not pay that much to go inside a box to sleep. So they're robbing. And what happened is at the top, they got greedier and greedier and greedier. So the bottom got poorer and poorer and poorer and more desperate. So now you're losing everything you got. Now the ones way at the top of Walgreens, what do they care? They made a fortune. They bought stocks. They got boats. Their family is living off of the money they robbed with Walgreens, so they don't care if it closes or not. What do they care? But that's the bosses up here. But all the bosses there and them that's trying to come up, they're all going to be out of a job. Only the way at the top is going to survive. All of the other top positions, they're all going to be starving. They're going to lose those nice homes. Yes. Because all of the upper echelon ain't set. Only the upper echelon is set. The rest of them are struggling. They living good. They living good, but they still struggling. Yeah, when you go downtown Chicago and you see them ones living in them nice buildings where they rent is like 250 or 2,500 a month and stuff like that. They not set for life. They just got a good job. But if that good job go away, they gonna hit rock bottom. Yeah, because there's no more middle class. And there's no more middle class jobs. And there's no more middle class prices. So the people was out at the Walgreens and they are so upset because these are older people, older than me. So imagine if you grew up with penny candy and a house, a 2-bedroom house like my father, $250 a month for your mortgage. Imagine you grew up in that era and you get older and you live in this era and they didn't raise the prices beyond what it should be raised in anybody's lifetime. And everybody knows this. These prices never should have fluctuated from when I was 5 years old to the prices they are now. There should not be that big of a difference on what it costs me to live from when I was born in 1958 to now. That is a crime. And it hasn't been done because it's necessary. It's been done so some people could live way better than everybody else. That's the only reason these prices are like that. These prices are not like that because they have to be. These prices are like that for the people to get filthy rich off of robbing the rest of the people. That's the only reason. If the prices went up and it was legitimate, cool, but they're illegitimate. It's robbery. It's robbery. So recent and upcoming Chicago Walgreens closures. 86 in Cottage Grove. That's the one they mad about right now. 35th and King Drive. So the one I told y'all about in Bronzeville, right there where I lived in Lake Meadows, and I said the guy took all the liquor, that one just closed February. The one I told you, where the guy took all the liquor, because I was living in Lake Meadows, that one's gone just a couple months ago. And I could tell it was going away then. Little Village closed February. Look how many, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Walgreens closed February. Look, 5 in February closed. Let that sink in. Little Village is where the Hispanics live. They Walgreens gone. All these other ones is in the black community. Bronzeville closed. Bronzeville, Lake Meadows, that's where I was living at first. And then I moved down to Prairie Shores. Lake Meadows was right there on 30, right there on 35th. Then I moved to Prairie Shores on 31st. Closed. 71st, closed. The one on 79th don't even have it on here. Closed. 71st and Western, that's over west, closed. 71st and Jeffrey, over east, closed. 91st and Commercial, over east, closed. 39th and Diversity, that's down in the Newtown area, in the nice area, closed. 76th and Toohey, that's all the way up north, closed. 37th and Western, that's out south, a little west, closed. 111th in Michigan, that's in the Rosen area, closed. This is where, how many people need their medicine in these areas? Where they gonna get their medicine? He said 47 Halston and 95th and Ashland still open. They won't be for long. So look, nonviolent retail theft in Chicago has seen significant increases with monthly shoplifting incidents climbing. Climbing through 2024. Remaining elevated above pre-2020 levels, reports show a steep rise in cases, with June 2024 shoplifting incidents in Chicago more than tripling compared to June 2020, driven by shifting prosecution thresholds and organized theft. What they mean by shifting prosecution thresholds, they ain't got nowhere to lock them up. So now when the state's attorney, Kim Foxx, say, don't lock them up, just let them go, they tried to act like she was saying, let the crime go. But she the one got to maintain the county jail and all that. And they didn't want to tell the truth. They ain't got nowhere to put them, okay? They don't, man, if you've been to the county jail, they ain't got nowhere to put them people. The county jail is packed. When I was in the county jail is supposed to have 2 men per spot. Like it's like a lot of rooms. It's not really a cell. I forgot what you call it. It's a room with 2 beds and a toilet, right? It's not a cell, it's a door. So it's not typically a cell that's like got bars. It's a door. And there's 2 men in there. And it's 3 men in every one. It's supposed to be 2. Somebody, when I went in, I had to sleep on the floor. I had 2 cellies, and I had to sleep on the floor. And then when the brother was a 4, I think he got released there. I got the bed, and then the new brother came in. He was some kind of vice lord. He was on the floor. And he was dope sick. And I had to give him candy bars and stuff because he was sick. Because when they come in there and they can't get their drugs, they be sick. And the only thing help them with their sicknesses is candy bars, sweets. That's a whole nother story. Right? So reports show a steep rise in cases, with June 2024 shoplifting incidents in Chicago more than tripling compared to June 2020, driven by shifting prosecution thresholds and organized theft. Key trends and data: significant increases. Shoplifting incidents have trended upward, with Chicago experiencing notably high rates through the first 10 months of 2024. Rising monthly incidents. Data indicates a dramatic spike in monthly shoplifting incidents from 2020 to 2024, with June figures increasing from 360 in 2020 to over 11,000 in 2024. National context, shoplifting incidents nationally increased 93% in 2023 compared to 2019, with 2024 data showing continued substantial rise according to National Retail Federation report. So this is all over the country. Prosecution policy. Trends have been influenced by police raising the threshold, by policies raising the thresholds for felony retail theft to 1,000, causing a decrease in felony prosecutions and a rise in misdemeanor level retail theft cases. Right? Factors contributing to the increase: organized retail crime. While much of it shoplifted, organized smash and grab incidents at high-end retailers have also impacted the city, particularly during holiday season. Economic factors. Research suggests rising incidents are linked to economic desperation poverty, and substance abuse. They didn't give me a bed now because I was 40. I wasn't this age. That was what am I? That was 28 years ago. That was 28 years ago. So I wasn't elder. That was 28 years ago. Right? That was 28 years ago. So I was with the BS. No, I was in my prime. I was with it. Yeah, I was good to go. I was a monster. Right? Yeah, we're not doing no trolling or no goofy stuff today, okay? If we got personal hangups politically, go somewhere else, all right? We want to have an intelligent conversation. Did they offer me PC? No, because when you go to jail, you ain't guilty. When you go to the county jail, you fighting the case. You ain't guilty. That's not prison, G Rock. So that's fighting the case. I was fighting the case. So you could bail out. My bail was 250,000. I only needed 25,000 to bail out. I had it, but I wasn't gonna get them 25,000 and then tell them I ain't selling. You know what I'm saying? I can't get them 20. And then if I give them 25,000, anything over $9,999, the IRS got to be notified. So if I'm arrested for selling substances allegedly, and I have my wife bring in 25,000, they could technically confiscate the 25,000, arrest her, put another case on me to prove. I will have to prove what businesses I had. See, so you catch another case like that. So I stayed in there, G Rod, till they lowered my bill to 150,000, and I had three people bring $5,000. So none of it would be over 10,000. I had my father bring 5,000, my wife bring 5,000, and my sister bring 5,000. Three cashier checks so that nobody had 10 grand. I had my wife take them the money. I had my wife take my daddy five, take my sister five, and then they got cashier's check with the money, and then the three cashier check is how I built out. But I wasn't gonna get them $25,000 and say I'm a good boy. You know what I'm saying? And then I was a gangster. I'm really that. So I was cool. I was at home. People really don't know me. People think I'm playing. I was cool. I was straight on the floor. I was good. I was good. I was really. It was my deck. Really, I ran the deck basically. I was good. There was bags all under my bunk. I had lots of groceries. I had more stuff than I could eat. I fed all the guys. Yeah, you want chips? Huh? You know, yeah. So I was good. I kept going to court until they lowered my bail. Young brothers, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Like I said, we're not doing trolls. You got some type of emotional stuff. Nobody wants to listen to you. Come back tomorrow, okay? Maybe somebody, what's your name? Newsstick. Maybe somebody's interested in what you're saying, but not me, okay? I'm sorry that your channel don't get no attention, but that's your problem. So, impact on retailers, store closures and hours. Major retailers have responded by adjusting operations, with some closing locations or reducing hours due to safety concerns and financial losses from theft. Economic losses. Retail theft causes significant economic damage to both small businesses and large retailers in Chicago. And not, like I said, not just Chicago. Retailers across the U.S. have faced a significant increase in nonviolent, often dubbed brazen shoplifting and theft, with a 2025 NRF study highlighting an 18% rise in shoplifting incidents in 2024 compared to 2023. While often termed nonviolent, this surge includes increasing aggression, with 91% of retailers reporting more aggressive tactics from thieves. And for the person came over here with the political stuff, Donald Trump's move in Iran, gas prices going to go up, and his administration is going to triple or quadruple crime if you want to talk politics. That as of this month, with gas prices now in Chicago $6 a gallon, you could say that this current administration that you love is going to rise crime by 10 times. So that's why I didn't want to talk to you, because it's the big league and you're really not ready for it. And when you start talking politics right now, you really don't know what you're talking about, because with gas prices going up, it's not going to make this situation better. And some people say the Trump administration is robbing from the poor and giving to the rich. That's what some people would say. So, Newstick, you gotta go get your game together. You're lame. You're not really good. You're not a good news. Yeah, you're not that good. You're probably biased, and if you're biased, your news is gonna be horrible. Just a word to the wise. I mean, a nice way to say it is you suck. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, because yeah, nothing happening right now that Trump is going to make this better. Okay, Trump is not making this better. It's going to be the wild, wild west by the 20 something of this month. This is the first month people didn't get their snap. It's the 9th. By the 20th, it's going to be a disaster. 11 more days. Remember I said it first. 11 more days. No, I didn't see what happened in Tennessee. So, persistent increases. Shoplifting incidents in the U.S. increased by 93% from 2019 to 2030, according to the National Retail Federation report. Unreported incidents, many retailers, with 64% reporting less than half of their theft, chose not to involve law enforcement, meaning official numbers may be undercounted. High volume areas, the surge is not uniform, but major cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago have experienced significant spikes, with reported shoplifting in some areas up 77% above 2018. Organized retail crime, while often appearing as petty theft, about 67% of retailers are seeing increased involvement of organized criminal groups. Right? So here goes the thing. When people start saying Chicago, New York, LA, this is where the intelligence level is low, because when you're talking big cities, you're talking more Walgreens. So to point out a big city and say they got a lot of crime when they might got 50 or 100 Walgreens, and a small city might got one. This is how just so much misreporting going on, making the audience not too intelligent, because more people is automatically going to be more crime. More stores is going to be more crime than less stores, but it's going to be the same ratio based on how many people and how many stores. The ratio is going to be the same. But the number's not going to be the same, because you can't have the same numbers with New York got 8 million people. If you got 400,000, you can't act like New York numbers are ridiculous. Their numbers is based on 8 million people. So when you try to make some type of political argument based on locations, you're not really intelligent. You don't do the numbers. That's why a lot of political hacks promote false information. Their information be inadequate. Republican states aren't doing well with crime. Not at all. Crime is crime. Crime is not Democrat or Republican. Okay? Crime is crime. Poverty is poverty. There's no Democrat poverty. There's no Republican poverty. Factors contributing to the increase: economic pressures, inflation, and higher costs of goods have been cited as factors, leading to a rise in theft of basic high demand items like baby formula and food. Now, when you say higher cost of goods, tariffs raised all the price. Shifting legal threshold, changing in state laws, which raised the threshold for felony theft, often to $1,000, have been linked to increased misdemeanor low-level thefts. E-commerce resale, the rise of online platform has made it easier for criminals to quickly resell stolen goods, often using boosters to acquire items from retail locations. So now you can go steal stuff and sell it online. Reduce security enforcement, a hands-off approach by staff stemming from safety concerns in some cases led to more permissive environmental thieves. Yes, because the security guards and many police are not equipped to apprehend people. The police are not that good because the police don't see action. So police go get jobs, they train a little bit, and they get in the cars and they drive around for hours and hours and hours with no action. So now when action pop off, they're not ready. On top of that, when you look at the police, right? If I'm really a marksman and I'm really got the skills to take you down quick, martial art experts, excellent shot, I'm not going to be a city police. I'm going to be like FBI, Secret Service, a professional bodyguard for movie stars. So the people that's got the most skills in terms of security and police and law enforcement, they're not going to be police. They're going to take the better paying jobs. And the ones that are going to be police, it's going to be nothing. They're not going to be that good. If you're an expert shot, you can run fast, you can jump walls, you can jump fences, apprehend people. You're going to work for Beyonce, Jay-Z, Jay, a famous person. You're going to be Secret Service, FBI. You're going to take the top. You're not going to be no police officer. The police officers are going to be the ones with the least skills and the least training. They don't get paid enough to be expert marksmen and all that. Police is not in shape. They can't run. They can't jump no fences. Even if you're on Chicago Police Department or LA, if you're really in shape and you can hop fences and you can chase a criminal down, you're going to be in the detective unit in an unmarked car. Ask somebody in LA, they tell you Big Pharaoh know what he talking about. If you in top shape, t-shirt on, and can run, you're going to be a jump out boy. Ask somebody in LA. The ones that can run you down, those are jump out boys. They had unmarked cars. And when they pull out and jump out, you better be able to run. Because if you run a mile and a half and look back, they right behind you. They ain't got no uniform. They got a t-shirt on and sneakers. And they got them police type sneakers on. They got some really good sneakers. And you hop the fence and look up and dude right behind you, bow, tackle you. You can't get away from the jump out boys. They in excellent shape. Now the average police, you go up to Walgreens, they sitting there, the sister there, her uniform on. You can see she a little chunky under there. You know, she ain't like that. I would say about 60%, 60 to 70% of the women is totally out of shape. And then with the men, regular police in the squad car, I would say about 55% are out of shape. They can't run a block. They've been sitting in the car too long, just driving around, just right there. And they don't have enough police. The idea of police is not really realistic. When you're in a big city like Chicago, how you gonna watch all these streets? Let me see. How many city blocks are in Chicago? Watch this. Chicago got 21,000 blocks. Chicago has 20,800 city blocks. 20,000. Can police be on almost 21,000 blocks? See what I'm saying? Can they police 21,000 blocks? No. Okay? You understand? No. No, they can't. So it's more like a deterrent. And then the detective work is how you get caught. Door cameras and stuff where they could catch you later. This is why we don't do crimes, because they ain't got to catch you right now. Right now, you're going to be on some camera, and they're gonna catch you later. But you would be surprised the workload that the detectives got. They got a crazy. If you knew the workload of homicide detectives in most of these cities, you wouldn't believe it. If you knew the unsolved murders You wouldn't believe it. So, financial losses in 2024, retail shrinkage, largely due to theft, was projected to cost 132 billion globally, with US establishments facing significant losses, particularly in the grocery sector. Store closures. The consistent theft has forced many retailers to close locations in high impact cities like San Francisco and Chicago. Increased security costs. Retailers are investing heavily in anti theft technology, AI camera security robots, and in some cases, reducing store hours or locking up products. Safety concerns. The surge in thefts has led to a feeling of insecurity among store employees, with 2/3 of store managers feeling unsafe. And it's going to get extremely worse. Nothing about gas prices going up, nothing about rent and mortgage going up, nothing about any of this. Food prices going up, basic, every time you look up, your internet's going up, your phone bill's going up, the price of a phone's going up, your internet service going up. Nothing about that equals less crime. So, to my great audience that's watching to me, I've been telling you all, I'm going to keep telling you, it is very serious right now. The key to being able to survive in this upcoming future, you have to be able to see down the block. You have to project, especially you men who are the leaders of the family. Right now, your daughters and wives, grandmothers, aunts, mom should be on high alert. Security must be increased. The moving around must be increased. The social media, you cannot show where you at, where you going, or any of that. If you go to dinner, it's nothing wrong with showing people on social media you went to dinner, but do not show them you're at dinner until you're not at dinner. So if you go to dinner on Friday at 5 p.m., on Sunday when you're at home at 5 p.m., post having a nice dinner. You're kind of lying, but not really because you did, but you can't be showing them in real time. Your phone, you got to make sure your address, that you ain't sloppy in front of the house showing your address, showing your license plate, showing the school you picking your baby up at. Like, you have to pay attention to your phone. Like, your phone cannot be giving away information because these people are expert at slowing down and finding information from your video. Here in Chicago, the shorties that's gang banging, how you think they finding each other? They're watching you closely. They watch your video slow to find your location. I'm talking about in Chicago, this is serious. They hunting like detectives. So, like, things are getting more serious. for the men, and that's the leader of the family, let them know recreation is over. Extra curriculum activities will be slowed down tremendously. Now, you might not want to do that, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to anyway. So you might as well start spoon feeding your family now and start slowing it down. And if you believe traveling, going out for dinner, and enjoying yourself is a beautiful thing and it's great, and you've been doing that, if it's so great, why you got to keep doing it every day? If that trip you took last year was so great, why you got to take another one now? Make it make some sense. If it's that great, why it don't last? Why it don't last? Not why it's not nothing now and you got to go again now. That means the trip last year sucked. It wasn't nothing. And you want to constantly keep doing the same thing. So it couldn't be that great if you constantly doing that. How is it great when you did it? It wasn't. Because it don't quench the hunger and you just keep on. And you get to the point where you're not paying attention to the economy or nothing. And you're just throwing money away at the wrong time. Listen, I'm not saying don't go out and enjoy yourself. You're right. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. I'm saying when you enjoy yourself, make it last. Make it last. Don't brainwash yourself like that's over and I got to do it again. Make it last. It's nothing worse for a lot of us men to take your woman out on a date that's like a once, like a twice a year type of thing. And you know you're doing something super big for her. And then for her to want you to keep doing that. Well, you're like, well, I should have took you to something cheaper. Since you want to do it all the time, like I thought what I took you to, I was doing this for this to last. If I take you on a cruise this summer, that's supposed to last through next year too. Now, if it don't, I'm wasting my money because to you it's no big deal because you want to do it again, which means it meant nothing. Because I took you on something that's supposed to mean something for 3 years. But it wasn't nothing for you by the time we got back home. You want to do something else again, which means you don't put no honor into what we did. You blowing it off. And when you blowing off these nice trips, you blowing off money. I don't want to get up and you Janet Jackson dancing in the house. I'm like, what have you done for me lately? Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, yeah. And your coochie don't cost that much. Your coochie ain't worth no trip to France and next year to England. Girl, if you don't sit down, so you don't get enough. You don't get enough. You're going to get enough. You don't get enough. You get to the point you can't even see. Them people went over there and got stuck in Dubai because they went over there and it was a war. They dumbasses went over there. They wasn't watching the news or nothing. And they went over there and the war kicked off. And Iran was blowing up Dubai and all that. And they were stuck over there. Where they took they butt to Dubai. You're gonna let somebody build an island and you gonna go anyway. Cause you ain't building no island. I believe in God. I don't believe in people. I'm not going to no bunch of buildings that you'd have made an island and put a bunch of heavy buildings on it. But that's all. Good luck with that. You're slow anyway. They can sell you anything. You'll get on anything, even if it don't make no sense. I'm not going on no man-made island. Man don't make good stuff. If the island was here by nature, yeah. But if a man make an island, I ain't going on no island no man made. I'm gonna just keep it a billion. Man, stupid. Yeah, ain't you can't make no island. Tell me, you done made an island. I'm gonna go. Hey, God, boy, I'm not going on no man-made island. So you made the island and put all these heavy buildings on it. All right, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And it's gonna just match with the environment, huh? It's just gonna work. The environment's just gonna be like cool. The ocean ain't gonna mess it up. It ain't gonna no storm gonna come and tear it up or nothing. Cause you know what you're doing. That's a whole nother video for another day. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ever sat down, if you ever had to sit down, this summer is the sit down summer if you're smart. And I didn't tell you that last year. I didn't say that the year before last. I'm saying this year. I'm not saying you should have sat down last year, the year before. But right now, if you're a man, you get your wife or your queen, you tell her, baby, we sitting down. We're not doing none of that this year. This year is canceled. We will be home. We bought a nice home. We got a nice apartment, and we finna enjoy it. We're finna enjoy home. Because this is now. This is how things are now. It's not just Walgreens finna close. McDonald's struggling. Burger King struggling. All these businesses are getting ready to close. They're getting ready to close because they don't have the economy. And when people lose money, people lose money. So you got to teach your family economics. When people lose money, then that's less money to be spent. So then other people lose money, right? So every time somebody lose money, more people lose money. If I lose money, I can't spend no money with you, right? So then you lose money. Then when you lose money, you can't spend no money with them, right? So then they lose money. So every time somebody lose money, somebody else lose money. And when they lose money, somebody else lose money. And when they lose money, somebody else lose money. And it goes around and around, it collapses. When Walgreens close, people lose money. They lose their jobs, and those people have less money to spend. And whoever they've been spending money with is finna lose money. All that stuff, all them companies Walgreens was buying stuff from, right? Them companies got less orders, right? So all them companies that sent stuff to Walgreens, if a bunch of Walgreens closed, then those companies got to lower their production, right? And then they got to lay people off because they've been sending so much popcorn to Walgreens, or so much this to Walgreens, and now there is no Walgreens. So now those orders, all them businesses in Walgreens are losing money, okay? Not just Walgreens. I'm giving y'all economical knowledge. When you go into Walgreens, take your phone and just video the candy, video the snacks, and just video the products, and then go home and ask yourself, Are they still selling the same amount of those products with Walgreens closing left and right? No. Which means people that work for the companies that make the stuff in Walgreens are getting ready to get sent home. When they get sent home, they buying less. So now other companies suffer, whoever they was spending with. And it's an ugly cycle. And right now, for you young people, this is worse as ever been. I was born in 1958. You in a bad cycle. Never seen before in the United States. We didn't have gas shortage, but this what we seeing right now is horrible. Because this is based off of in a country that built up, made a whole lot of money, sold a bunch of candy, sold a bunch of popcorn, sold a bunch of McDonald's, and they built their system on that. So now when they not selling a lot of McDonald's and not, guess what's going to happen? When you go all the way up and then it fell, you crash. If you go this high up and it fell, you don't fall that far. But as long as this country been building, this is horrible. You better sit on your money. They're going to come to YouTube and they're going to say, we no longer demonetize. We no longer monetize. Watch. Watch what I told you. If you monetize, you better save your money. Because they're going to come on YouTube and they're going to say, YouTube is ending its monetizing. Watch. Watch. And all the content creators that have been paying their bills and surviving with that money, they're going to be out of business. So if you was monetized, you went and bought a bunch of dumbass cars and stupid stuff, you're going to wish you didn't. Because what make you think things are going to go good enough for YouTube to keep paying? I'm just saying, where they going to get the money from? I'm just saying. So that's the news. That's the news update. Pay attention. Save your money. Sit still. If you save your money and sit still and everything go right, cool. Go back to what you was doing. No harm, no foul. But don't roll the dice. Stack your bread, get some beans, get some rice, store some water, have alternative fire in case you got to cook. Because we haven't even talked about the weather. Yeah, you got the war, you got struggling business. We haven't even talked about Mother Nature, who, if your eyes is open, Mother Nature is acting a fool. For real. This the news.